This is Stephanie with Hightower Stitching with today's video, which is Holiday Flying Geese Trees. The other day I was looking at some quilting videos on YouTube, and I saw where they were working with flying geese and incorporating those into a quilt. And I thought, they kind of make me think of a tree. I don't know if it's this time of the year, but maybe it is. And so I used the flying geese idea and made the tree. And yesterday when the family got together, I showed it to my daughter and she said, wow. And I thought, oh my gosh, she liked this. So maybe this is something that I'm going to do again. And you can see once you get your tree in place, you can do any kind of decorating you wanted to. I did a little bit of free motion on there, and I used a few of my templates to make the little snow mounds at the bottom. And I just started out with some squares, and just to help you get started, if you wanted something like that, these were the sizes that I used for my squares: 3-inch square, 4.5, 6.5, and on down. And that will give you an 11-inch tree. So I'm going to start with the square. And you've got raw edges all the way around, so that's no problem. And take it and fold it in half. We're going to make a flying geese, which you can do with your quilt for quilting. And once I get it there, what you want to watch is I've got my folded edge, and I wrote raw on mine, which you won't do, but you're going to use the raw edge, and you're going to fold it in. What I usually do is I make myself a midpoint. There I go. Because that helps. Then you can get it in place. Press it. Or wait till you get them both on there and then press them. And the nice thing about this is, the only one that you really have to worry about the point at the top is going to be the very first one. And what happens there is if it's the very top one and you've got a piece hanging down, you can just trim it in the back, and that also helps take some of the bulk off. But that makes your first flying geese, and the main thing is to have your raw edge across the bottom, so you don't have to worry about that. So now I've got all of the ones I've got ready, and you can see I went into my fabric stash of Christmas material, and sometimes you have small pieces and you're not sure what to do with them, but I had a lot of variety, so I could make a lot of different trees. So I've got these fixed, and then you just open up the bottom of along the folded edge, slide the piece in. The nice thing is your raw edge is gone. That's your fold. You open the next one up, slide them in, and the next one. And here you can do it any way you want to. You can slide them farther down. You can slide them farther apart. However you want to do that. And just to show you, I had pulled a piece of cardboard and then have it set up, and because this is the way I think I really like it. So then I'd go hunting for the material that I want for the back. When I found the material that I wanted to do for the back, and I wanted to hook it down, I pinned it, but I said I want it to be a little more stable than that. And so I pulled out some Wonder Web. And it's the kind that when you apply the steam to it on the back of your, put a piece in the back of your fabric, and then it'll stay. And that really turned out pretty well. You just got to be careful with this stuff and don't let it get on your iron, because otherwise you've got to do a cleanup job. Then here's the other one that I worked on too. Then I pulled some fabric, and this is the full length tree again. And I had to decide, well, how am I going to secure the edges as I get ready to do my tree? The first one, I just took brown thread and small stitches and machine stitched it all the way around the edge, and you can't see them. Then on this one, I really didn't want any stitching to show, so I pulled out my invisible thread that goes on the sewing machine. And I did that all the way around. And just be sure you read which one you've pulled out. If you have some that is washable and disappears, it's the disappearing kind. But here again, you can see I was able to do some, you can do embroidery, you could do free motion, you can put the trees on and add that. The sky's the limit for what you want to do to decorate. And that brings us to the next part about the edging. Is I was going to show you, if you were doing it as a gift for someone, a special thing, you might want to do an applique type edge around the edge. And I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. Now, when I get ready to start, you usually want sort of a slender needle, and you want your thread. And for this demonstration, I'm using black thread. Would not use black thread on this white fabric. And also, I've doubled it so it would show. If the thread is nice quality, strong, then you could just do one thread. And this is actually a lot of fun. So I've knotted my thread, and I'm coming in from the back side. And this whole thing is to be invisible. And this is nice because you got a nice edge. You don't have to do any folding. You just get to sit and stitch and go. Usually you go straight down, go over a very small amount, and grab the fabric and pull it up. And now if I was using the same colored thread, this would really be nice. And I think I'm actually going to do one of these all the way around as a gift, and then do it with the hand stitching in it, because that makes a really nice gift. And then when you get done to the area where you finished with, and it's really good practice for applique because it's got such a nice thick edge for you to grab hold of. Now I'll stop that. I want to show you something, if I don't know if you're familiar with. And these are straw needles. This is a size 10, and that's because that's what I saw somebody using on the internet. There's other sizes, and it's a very thin needle. Remember we were talking about doing thin at the beginning? And I've got it threaded. I'm going to come up through the bottom, and it just glides. It's called a straw needle. It's one of those nice things. You get it, and you go straight down, and you go up, and it really is easy to get just a small amount of thread and to make those nice, neat little stitches that would go across there. And you would do that all the way around. And see, if you're doing a small project, it's easy to sit and hold it and do it like that. And you do the same way. You go back through the bottom and knot off. This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. I hope you got something out of this lesson. This is a fun activity using the flying geese to make some trees. Can be holiday trees or others.